everybody. Let me set this. I can't hear anything. All right. My voice cracked. Switching the camera. Moving this a little bit. We're trying a new angle today. And I have you guys placed the microphone in a different spot. Okay. I'm struggling with this. But we have a new angle for the camera as well. I'm hoping that it's good. Sorry, this takes a minute. But I just wanted to basically show more of the saw itself that I'll be using. I don't think you'll be seeing all of it. Yeah, that's as much as it happens, but that's okay. Waiting to see who is here, who joins us. It's been almost a month since the last time I've live streamed, and I thought it was really funny because I said I would be live streaming earlier than that, but it's been a little bit complicated. A lot of things have happened. By the way, I'm drinking some mango juice or water. It's made with fresh mangoes and it's so good. But so I have my bookmarks that you guys have seen me work on. Hello, Bennett. Oh my gosh. So they're basically done. They're cut, they're sanded, and my polishing pads finally arrived in the mail. So I will be polishing these really soon. I don't know if you guys are interested in that process. I could live stream that. I'm just trying to fill up my life with live streams. But, you know, that's something that will be happening later on. But while I was waiting for the polishing pads, I saw that I had enough copper to do more projects for the sale coming up. So, essentially, if you go to my website under mini sculptures, which I've linked my website on the chat, you can see some pieces that are on like stained wood. And I wanted to make pieces like that again, except I don't have time to actually do the stained wood part of it. So these are just going to be decoration pieces for your home, and you can just nail this in place. Today, basically, I'm going to be cutting this in live stream. And these are other two that I'm also going to be working on, and I'm going to be recording them and making videos of them and uploading them later to the channel. But they're really not my priority right now. But I did cut this one the other day, and I took some footage of it because if you've been following me, you know that I basically post snippets of everything that I make. So you'll be seeing this on the reels real soon. I don't have like enough footage to make like a full-on video about it, but we will be cutting this one in live stream. It's already been drilled. It's really not that noticeable, but you can see the light coming in through the tiny holes that I made. And I thought it'd be interesting because I haven't done anything extremely big. The bookmarks that I've made are very thin and small and detailed, and it was really hard to focus on those in live stream. But this time, you know, you can really see this from afar, which is really nice. And we also have lettering, which I think is also very interesting to see cut live. So that's what we're doing today. I will be basically taking notes or coming back to the live stream to see how long it takes me to cut this one. Because according to my notes, this took 2 hours, which seems like way too much. I don't want these to come off expensive. Well, I'm mostly charging for my time. And I don't know if it's just because I'm out of practice with this copper. It is thick. It's a 18 gauge copper. Compared to the bookmarks, and here I have one that I didn't actually cut. You can kind of see the difference in thickness. This is way thinner, and this is thicker, and this is hard copper. So it really doesn't bend. And this one kind of bends very easily. So it's so easy to cut compared to this. So I think part of the thing that made me take a while for this is the fact that I've just been cutting soft copper for the past few months, and I'm used to how fast cutting this is. Could these be done with that copper? Yes, 100%. But I didn't have any, and I'm very much just using the spare copper that I have with me. Because purchasing some at this point or current time seems excessive, and I don't have time. My artisan show is in a month or less than a month, so I really gotta get things going, and I plan to just do 4 pieces because I think that's all I can manage. This is way too hard. But yeah, we're gonna start, and I usually start with, I think with this I started with the letters. So I'm gonna start with that today. Yeah. I don't know how loud this is going to be. I hope it's not too loud. Again, I try to place the microphone in an area where it's not gonna fully pick up how loud this saw can be. I am using a thicker blade. So usually thicker blade means that it will be a little bit loud. But it shouldn't be too bad. We'll see. I am testing the volume of everything. And then precaution, my bird is right next to me, and sometimes he gets triggered by the sound of this. That's only sometimes. Sometimes he's okay. So hopefully he doesn't start yelling. But we'll see. So it's 1:24 right now. And I'm going to start cutting. And I'm using my 8-inch saw for this. I don't know if this is really loud for you guys. I might have to move you back a little bit too. Or I might have to angle myself a little bit more because I can feel the bottom of the leg of the camera hitting me. Not the camera, what do you call it? The camera stand? The tripod? The tripod. Yeah, this copper is just like so much thicker, and there is so much dust that comes out of it because of how thick it is. Especially since I'm using a blade that has less teeth because it's a thicker blade. There does seem to be more dust, and like we just did that and look how much dust there is. Thankfully it's not too hot in here. It's been extremely hot the past few days. But I'm just gonna tap the dust over there and continue. I think this is the next hole. Some of these holes are way too small for this blade that I'm using. Okay, can I do this one? Yes, that's the one that I need anyways. But all I can do to make the hole bigger is just go on the other side, because when you drill holes into the copper, it kind of melts down, and sometimes instead of going like this, it like closes back within itself. So that causes the hole to basically be smaller, even though all of these holes were done with the same drill bit. So I'm not really sure what that's about. Let me just double check the sound. Alright, sorry. Okay, it's not too bad, but my voice is definitely far away. I have to get closer to the camera so you guys can hear me, because I have my microphone right there. I usually have the microphone on my shirt, but I'm more likely to hit it today because I'm using my 8-inch saw. And then also, it picks up the noise of the saw a lot more if I have it on my shirt. And I have to repeat to myself that I have to go slow and loosen my grip, because I think part of what happened last time was, or for that one, was I was gripping this too strongly, and when you do that, you tend to just strain your hand and get tired out very easily. Oops. Can do that. And just brush this over. And I think I really struggled with this, with this aided drill. It looks like. Oh my goodness. Is this the right one? Starting to question myself, because I cut the outside. It is not. Let me switch the blade for this one. I'll put this one here because I'm using it. But I'm going to switch out to a smaller size. I don't know if you can see the difference in size there, but I can feel it. And it's not difficult to switch out the blade. But yeah, that other blade, it's mainly used for like cutting bigger areas, not many details, so to cut the bird it's more useful. I'm gonna have to go back and just re-drill some of these holes so this fits in, but I'm not gonna use this blade for everything, just here and these details here, and then the rest I can do with the other one. But for these smaller details, it is more helpful to use the smaller blade. And I don't know if you can tell, but this one is making less noise, and it's because it has more teeth than the other one. Oh, that's so good. I'm gonna try and go around that, but I don't think I'll be able to. Some of the copper sometimes comes with a bit of imperfections because it was probably melted with other metals. So sometimes that's what I feel, and I'm feeling it right now, that it's not gonna cut. Darn it. I didn't think I'll have this problem live stream. But it also happens when I drill one area for a really long time, because then the copper compresses a lot. No, yeah. I have to switch the blade. It seems to be fine. Sometimes it just eats through the blade when there's a different metal there. I'm gonna try one more time and try and make a huge circle around it. I tend to have that issue more with this thicker copper. And it's not often, but when it happens, it really does destroy your drill bits. And the copper, and not the copper, but it's like really soft here. It's literally not cutting anything. All right, there you go. That, I hated that. I hate when that happens. But based on how it's cutting this area that hasn't been touched, I'm a little bit concerned that it did wear down on the teeth. Because it sounds like nothing. It's cutting a little bit. And I can always come back and sand that down manually with a tiny file, but I'm gonna see if this is actually cutting, otherwise I have to change the blade. No, we wore the blade down. Goodness. That hasn't happened to me in a really long time. I'm kind of surprised that it happened to me in live stream. I'm kind of offended that it did. I'm gonna cut this in half so I know that it's... And then I put that in a little container so when I throw it in the trash, the people at the trash place don't stab themselves with my blades. All right. Take this one, and now we have the S, which is the other smallest point in here. And that's that. I always like cutting letters. There's only been a few commissions where I've done letters. And every time I just like absolutely love to cut letters. There we are. So this specific two birds, they're supposed to be a set. This one, if you can't read this one says fly free. And this one's always, so not a set, but it's a pair. But like I said, I'm kind of concerned just because it took me a really long time to cut this one. So, but it's okay. We'll see how long it takes me for this. And what I'm doing here is, I don't know if you can see, but the blade is not going all the way. And this, I can push easily. I'm pushing it with my, I don't know if you can see. Nope, you can't see. I'm pushing it with my thumb here to close it up. And then sometimes I also use the middle of my chest because it's really not that hard to push it in. And then it closes, and then I know it's ready when I press on it. And there's no bounce back. It's like tension. It's really holding itself back. There's some very tiny details on this design, but I feel like they're important. When there's negative space, you really want to make sure that you play on that negative space. So there's a lot of tiny negative space all over this piece. I could continue just cutting with this one, actually. I don't know if I'm feeling better today than I was the other day. And I can actually properly cut this. But I do check the tension every time, even though I am tightening it like it should. Sometimes you don't actually tighten this hard enough for it to close completely. So those are a few things that I'm doing every time I'm reinserting the blade. And I apologize if it's a little bit hard to hear me. I'm trying to stay close to the microphone as possible. But it's a little bit difficult when I have to pay attention to what I'm cutting. I do have to shift my body for this. I might move the microphone in a second just so it's at a better spot. Oops. But I do have to remember to loosen my grip on this. I don't have to put a lot of force for the blade to cut. There's just so much dust, you guys. Nothing really quick. There is a slight push that I'm doing, but it's not a huge push. You don't want to do a huge push. All right. Let me drink something. I will be moving the microphone to my shirt just to see if it is really loud. Oh, but here on my headphone. I think that should be good. You can still somewhat. Sorry, still shifting a little bit. All right, that should be good. Let's continue. Is this a little bit harder for me to have the microphone over there because then I feel like I can't necessarily speak or anything while I'm cutting because then I move so far away from the microphone that I'm just like, I don't know, like darn it. It just doesn't feel right. All right. So I do tend to cut off the inside details first when it comes to big pieces before I cut the outside. Though you can cut the outside first. The only thing with that reasons why I wouldn't do that and why I'm not doing that this time is because there is a lot of like sharpness here where the peak is and on the letters. And while moving the piece around or cutting, it just may feel uncomfortable for me personally. So I try to avoid that. In order for me to avoid that, I work on the inside first and then cut all of that stuff so the outside last. All right, hold on. Let me move this because I'm actually touching the cable for the microphone here with the saw, and I don't want that. All right. I just don't know if it's going to pick up on anything. All right. So I'm actually cutting pretty well today with this one. I think just that shock from the first one. And then I also took the cushion off my seat because the cushion makes me feel very comfortable on this chair, but then it adds like 4 inches to my height. And so then I feel disproportionate to my bench pin. So then I feel like that also adds to me straining myself and trying to reach the height that I need. Or not the height, but going low enough to use the entirety of my blade. This is not a difficult design. I think the hardest design out of these 4 is the butterfly. There is a lot more letters to the word, a lot more details. It shouldn't be complicated though. All of these designs I've done on the bookmarks in a smaller form. So if I was able to do them on a smaller form, I can do them in a larger form. The main difference is that there's just more to cut if you're cutting something in a larger scale. And then also, of course, it just requires a lot more of your body and stuff like that. So yeah, the only reason why I would switch blades after doing things that have a little bit more detail is because I just don't want to deal, like, the thinner the blade is, the more work you have to do for cutting. So I don't want to deal with the cutting at all, mainly. Or cutting more when you're using a smaller or a finer blade. And if this was, I have a sculpture called Positions, which is also on my website. Again, you can check out my website. But I have a sculpture called Positions, and on there I did, I forgot what it is, 49 birds out of copper. And they're very small and detailed. But for me, it's different cutting in that scale with a thinner blade because the details are so small that you can cut them very easily because it's just small details, kind of like these down here, the letters, like the inside for the letters. It just goes by really fast and it doesn't feel like a chore. But it does for these bigger sections where there's just like points that I have to reach, and I can only reach them with this blade. And it's in a way easier to just cut it all with this blade. But for down here, because it is a shorter area than others, I might go in, cut all of this, so where the letters are first, and then switch the blade. I think that's gonna be my best bet for that. I also don't know why I started on the other side. I don't like following the design or the black line on my right. I like having it on my left because I'm mainly looking on the left side. I don't know if that makes sense, but so we're here and we cut towards this tiny hole. There you go. And I do keep all of this spare copper. Just put it on my pile to the side. And when I'm coming to a point, I tend to go a bit slower because these blades are really good at what they do. And if I slam on the piece or if I cut way too far, I am cutting way too far. And it might just be like a second, but a second is a lot for a, for a blade. Like it just cuts. So I do tend to go slow in some of the areas where I'm about to remove the copper because I don't want to ruin my design. But it's coming along, and I always like to check it against the light because then you can see everything coming in and how it's looking like. And again, this one back here is a reference, but I don't think I'll do this one with this blade. I'm just going to move on to this right there because that one's another area where the design comes to a very fine point. And I can't get that fine point with my bigger blade or thicker blade. And I can pull out the blade sizes in a minute so you can have an idea of what I'm using. The blades that I'm using are by or distributed by Contetti, but the manufacturers are Sierra or Sierra blades. I believe that's what they're called. But I get them from the company called Contetti, and they're a jewelry, I don't know, company, kind of, based in New York. So it's local. So, but I think the blades itself, they're manufactured as well somewhere else. And these are fairly expensive blades, but they do last me a while. I actually did a whole video on this, not a whole video, but I did do like shorts on these blades, which is still the one video that I see getting views often. Like it's just a one that continues to get views because it's very fascinating. So I might link it in the description later if you guys are interested in checking that out. But there we are. Now the rest I'm gonna cut with this thicker blade, but I do want to go here and do the letters first. And so I'm gonna go here, here, and then here, here, or here, and then I'm going to use the thicker blade to cut everything else because I do not feel like cutting straight lines with this tiny thin blade. I don't know how long we've been going for, but 30 minutes. Some of that is me rambling, but this is actually moving way faster than the other one. But again, this other one had more detail on it. I'm pressing down. Well, this is what I mean, like that I like my design being on the left. So right now, you guys are facing the white area and I'm facing the black area because I just like seeing where I'm cutting. And I know it seems like I'm going fast, but to me I'm going slow. And I think the reason why it looks like I'm going fast is because I'm using the entirety of the blade. Like, I'm really not pushing much on the handle of my saw. I'm letting the blade guide me, really. And if this is your first time seeing one of my live streams of me cutting, I talk a lot about posture and how the blade does all of the work. You don't have to do much. The only thing that I'm really doing is moving the piece. So because I'm not really moving my right hand, which is holding the blade, I want to make sure that I'm just moving smoothly through this whole thing. And I do that by literally using my left hand to rotate the piece. So that's what I'm doing. And I'm making sure that I'm using the entirety of the blade, because if I concentrate the cutting in one area, that is where the longevity of the blade reduces, and it just means that your blade is not going to last and that they're going to break a lot faster. But usually I'm able to use a blade for a good chunk of time. Again, unless I'm just using it very, I want to say inappropriately, but not inappropriately. Just not in a way that benefits the longevity of the blade. And again, these blades are fairly expensive, but you do gotta treat them well to make sure that they last way longer. And that way the price is worth it. And you can do the same thing with more affordable blades. Like I said, I made a short video on the difference between the two and why I decided to switch to more expensive blades. But yeah, this is about it when it comes to this. And I don't know, I'm feeling it immediately now. Like, as soon as I'm done cutting something intricate with this, it just feels like it takes forever to cut a slightly straight line. But I want to come up here and I can make a turn. But then I also want to make a hole here. There you go. And I just made that there so I can insert the thicker blade when I come back. There's just so much dust. This is what it's looking like from the back. You can see that I make a decently sized hole there. Because earlier, I don't know if you noticed, but I couldn't fit the thicker blade in some of these holes. And because this blade is thinner, I can't just retrace what I cut. It's better for me to create a hole and start from there. So we're gonna do this one, and then we're gonna cut all of the bottom side of the letter, which should be fine. I just have to be careful when I come back with the thicker blade, because then it means that all of this here is going to be extremely fragile. So I just got to be careful when I cut that. But this is all one line, so that should be fun. And again, I wasn't smart, and so now I'm cutting on the left side again. Like I said, I'm not as comfortable doing that, but it's fine. It doesn't really matter. I can do both. But I usually, I do plan out where I drill my hole and everything, because I'd like to cut everything in a certain way that is easier for me. And the thing here is that I just have to be more careful when I'm cutting. Alright, I can hear my blade kind of dying. So I'm going in with this. This is the brand that I was talking about, Contetti. But this is the brand Gems, and this is Blade Lube. So I'm just gonna lube it up. And then just, that helps the blade cool down. And helps it glide a little bit better. Because as you use it, there's a lot more friction because everything's heating up. So the lube is what helps your blade last a little bit longer as well. I'm gonna go very soft here to make this turn. And continue. There's some areas like that where I can just make a full-on turn, but then there's areas like this one coming up where I basically just have to cut a V, not a V, but a V or a triangle in order to get the design, or in order to cut that shape out. So here we are. And you go down and you cut. And I usually don't like blowing on the dust because, as I said, I have a bird with me in this room and I don't want to accidentally get any of the dust airborne and it affecting him. But when I'm like cutting like that, it's better for me to just blow it away. And then I can continue. Now that I cut that V, I can follow up and keep going. But essentially you just want to make a small hole so you can turn around and cut the other side. It's sometimes easier to do it that way, especially if it's a sharp corner. But like this one down here, it's a little bit more, it's not a sharp corner. So what I will do is cut, but I'm making sure that my blade is like staying back or staying in place, so I can make the smallest of curve and then head back up. And to me, that's sometimes way faster than cutting a V. Sometimes you can cut the V very wrong, but you sometimes can make a turn like that very wrong too. I've done both. So it's very just up into everybody's comfort. I'll always talk in these videos or live streams as if I'm like giving a tutorial. I'm really not. I mean, you could use it as a tutorial, but I like to explain what I'm doing. I love teaching about cutting metal and things like that. I'm excited to host classes again. I'm hoping that I'm able to. I haven't talked yet to the person that I want to talk to about renting out a space towards the end of the year and the beginning of next year for classes. But that also requires me buying all the supplies to hold those classes. So it's a thing of just seeing if I can, first off. But I like teaching metal cutting. I think it's so cool. And it's one of those things that you can do indoors for the most part in a very small space, like me. sometimes when the dust is getting in the way, I sometimes guess where I'm cutting. But especially, it's way harder to see though when the design is on my right side. Okay, this is another curve I can probably take. It looks a little bit more V-like, but I think I should manage to take it. I'm gonna I did a small hole, like the tiniest of hole. But yeah, the other blade is a little bit too thick to do things like this. So that's why I really need to use this one. I'm really feeling the heat now. It's getting a little bit hotter. I turned my fan off because again, I don't want any of this dust blowing around. And down here I am doing a V or a small triangle to cut this part out. And there we go. Sorry, I feel the blade. I felt the blade twisting because of how tight the space is. But here we are. We're making our way. This is another area where I have to do a very long V. The other thing that I'm doing that might not be as obvious is that I am pointing, or I'm not, my hand or the way that I'm holding the saw is not completely straight. I have it somewhat, I'm gonna go this way, at an angle. So if I'm cutting on the right side, it's angled a bit more towards the left. So like this, and if I'm cutting on the left side, it will be angled a little bit towards the right, and that's like downwards. And the reason why I do that is because sometimes when you're cutting straight, you're actually not cutting straight. And it's better to angle it inwards, so the other side, instead of cutting towards the black area and then making it thinner on the other side, you can make it a little bit thicker on the other side and then fix that if you want. But I just, darn it, that space was really small. My blade broke. I found it to just, for that to just be a little bit more useful. It also doesn't help that I'm talking and putting a lot of tension on the blade. And you can definitely purchase this saw anywhere. I think I purchased this 8-inch saw on Amazon. I have a 12-inch saw, which you might see in my reels later when I show me cutting these from a bigger piece of copper. But this is how it's going, or from the back at least. It's doing pretty well, but that's what I mean, like I'm angling more outwards, so over here it doesn't get thinner, because I used to have that problem when it came to this. Okay, I want to angle this where I'm gonna cut, so this way. But the only downside of angling your saw when you're cutting like that is if you're cutting those V's, and when you go back it just doesn't really line up, because you might be angling it more on one side than the other, but usually that's not a huge issue for me. I might take a tiny break after I'm done cutting this part, because my arm is getting tired. Or it's not really tired, but it is on fire from holding the blade. Not the blade. I'm holding the handle of the saw. And once again over here, I'm gonna create a slight hole so I can fit the bigger blade here. There we are. We're an hour in. Okay. Not good, but not bad. I am talking a lot, so that takes up a bit of my time when it comes to this. The main thing is that I can feel my hand falling asleep a little bit, because I can just feel all the vibration. So we still need to cut this lower side. And there are a lot of points. I was like seeing if I could use my bigger blade to do that, because I don't want to deal with all of this and all of this with this blade, but I may just need to. It's okay. You cannot deal with the cards that you've given yourself. I was the one who decided to have writing on this. But these are smaller. This one is also pretty small, the Tranquility. The horse, I think, is going to be the easiest to cut overall, because there's not a lot of fine points here, besides these areas that are like in sections. Is this tight? All right. Gonna move my hand a little bit because it was falling asleep. But now I'm gonna cut this down part of the letters. And that will be it with this blade size. And then we'll take like a small break, and I can show you the other blades that I have and the sizes and all that, while my hand recovers from the vibrations. For the butterfly and the horse, I think those two are going to be very easy designs to do. I'm not going to have to do them similarly to this one, where I'm cutting all of the outside first on these, or I'm cutting most of the inside first, and then the outside last, even though I'm going over this right now. I'm just a walking contradictory when it comes to this. I'm not like, it's a little bit difficult to explain. But like I said earlier, it's just like the letters, there's a lot of space underneath these birds, so it just feels like it's going to be a weak area. And it would be weaker if I was using thinner copper to do this. But it is thick copper, so it's not going to bend as easily. But I always, for some reason, prefer to cut the interior first, just because I have more to grab at when it comes to these bigger pieces and nothing sharp. But it is always good to do the areas that are more detailed first or have more curvature. So that's why you saw me doing everything that had a point, or you saw me doing the side that had the letters for the inside. And that's because this copper is heavy. If you're cutting this and you start down here, this is all the weight that is going into these letters. So I'd rather do it this way, where I am guaranteed not to basically damage the letters or the design that I've made. But once it just comes to cutting the vest, because I'm cutting this out right now, it just becomes a little bit uncomfortable to deal with the details of the exterior. Because as you can see, I'm really grabbing onto this. I'm like really comfortable grabbing onto that. That's gonna be hard, or a little bit more difficult, uncomfortable to grab. So that's my main query with that. But it's okay. Sorry if I'm being a little more quiet. These letters are being a bit, they're like not complicated, but I am trying to concentrate a little bit on them, because there's just a lot of curve. I don't know if anybody like truly finds this process to be interesting, or if they can even see what I'm doing. And I might come back because I see that I've had some areas where I left some white space. That means that I just didn't get close enough to the design. It could also just be fine. And that's totally fine. I will try to cut over. No, actually, I don't know. We'll see once I get to the bottom part if I want to cut it all the way down. But that extra noise that you're hearing is all of this and how loose it is. So I think I might have to nip it down here. Unless I grab onto it, you can kind of hear the difference that it makes. But that's going to be a little bit annoying to work with, so I'm just gonna cut it right here. Put this to the side. And then I can just pick up where I was. But I can feel how fragile this is now because the inside has been cut. And when you cut something as thin as that, you want to make sure that you are really close to your bench pin so it doesn't bend down. And that will just help your piece or something like that that comes out like that stay straight and strong. And again, this isn't a huge problem with this copper because this copper is hard and thick, but you'll never know. Sometimes the blade has a lot more power than the copper itself, and if you tug the wrong way, you could just pull the whole thing down. So I just always try to be cautious of that. Alright. This is a very fragile area, so I want to make sure that all of it is touching a type of surface. So again, I don't tug at anything. Okay, hold on, I gotta loosen my grip. Just keep holding on to things really strongly. Here. got tugged. I will continue to cut all the way over here because again, this is a thin area, but this is coming loose. So I'm gonna cut that first if I can. All right. There we are. Now we're gonna cut this small tiny area right there, and it shouldn't be too difficult, hopefully. And I'm gonna do this on this smaller side of the bench pin. And I'm gonna start with the outside because again, it's the more sensitive area. And if I start with the straight line, there's a possibility that once I get to this curve, that is just going to want to tug at the letter because it's what I'm cutting second. But I don't get any tugging if I cut that part first and then this part second. Oops. Okay, there you go. And I'm gonna go back and cut some of these areas where I didn't cut enough of the white, which was just that area. So we're good. So much dust. I'm gonna switch the blade to that thicker blade. And this should speed up the process a lot more. So since the letters already kind of, I mean, it doesn't really matter. I might end with the letters, so I'm just going to work on the inside here first. These holes might be too small, but we'll see. Yeah. I'm going to quickly make them a little bit bigger. And for this, I'm going to mute myself for a second because this can get really loud. All right, back. I think that should have been enough. We'll see. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna take a break actually because I'm kind of tired. My arm is a little bit, a little bit tired. For sure. So I do want to show you the other blades that I have, or that I use. I keep my blades in this container here, though. So it goes from thickest to thinnest, and you can see by the difference in volume. This is my thickest, so this is what I'm gonna be using now. Excuse me, what I'm gonna be using now. And this is what I was using. And I use these for smaller details or thinner copper. It just helps a lot more. And there's just a lot of dog hair here. But I don't know. I do like this tiny container that I made this. But I'm hoping that soonish I can make another one because I don't love this one anymore. It does have copper on the top and it looks like it's been patinaing. And the inside is also very patinaed. But I keep it back here. And I don't have all of the blades out because if you do that, then it's likely that they will just, I don't know, do overtime if they're left out of the package for so long. So the one that I'm going to be using right now is this one. So this is the company I was talking about, Contenti. I always say Contenti, but it's Contenti, and it's Sierra blades, jewelry saw blades. And each package comes with 144 blades, and this is size 3. Put the size there, but then also on the outside you can, oh god, a few flew out. You can see how thick they are, similarly to how they just looked over there. So I can just, even if the label wears off, I can tell the difference between this blade and this blade based on just the sheer thickness of it. So the other blade that I've been using has been this one. This is a 1 of 0. The one is worn off, but it's a 1 of 0. And again, 144. It's the same Sierra jewelry saw blades. And they were made in Swiss, or Swiss made. I don't really know what that means. But it's a Swiss product. So I have 3, 1 of 0, 3 of 0. This is my second smallest. And then I barely have any of this very fine one. And you can see how small this last bunch is. And it has 12 in here. But this is a 5 of 0. And this is the smallest that I use. I don't know if I were to use any smaller, I don't know what that would feel like. I haven't. But the 5 of 0 tends to do its job really well. And I just keep them in this container. And usually I have a polishing rag there, some drill bits. And yeah, that's what I keep in this container. But you do want to keep your blades in the bag because there is oils in there, and the oils help the longevity of them when you're not using them. Well, having them out here, if you keep them in a bunch, they do tend to stay oiled. But if that number is reduced, then they do tend to go pretty bad. So for those reasons, and I didn't know that until I started using this little thingy. But I am hoping to make a new one. I want to make one that's out of copper just like that, and then buy little cylinders that I can stir the blades into. That's the plan, but I'm not sure if I'll be able to make it happen. So anyway, then we're gonna start cutting the inside of this, and hopefully my blade can fit. I'm too hopeful. I'm really having to pressure this in there. Okay, I'm gonna see if it fits in any of these holes. I don't know if I got a smaller drill size, because this drill bit is not, this blade is not fitting. No. Okay. I'm gonna have to re-drill some of those. I'm very disappointed. I think, I don't know, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna have to mute myself again, just because I need to drill. But that's a mental note that I need to make, that I don't think I bought a smaller size. I think I stuck to my size because I was like, oh, that works for all the blades that I have. And it did. No, it doesn't. So I do have to fit that drill bit, that bigger drill bit into here. And I don't even know if it's going to work. Okay. And by work, I mean, I don't know if this drill bit is any good currently. But I rub it around this piece of paper because it doesn't fit in my saw. Not my saw, my drill. And adding a bit of paper helps. So this is the difference between my two drill bits. So this is the one that I used for the holes. It's not big enough. So I'm going in with this one. I have no hope because I think I used these previously and none of them worked. But there's already a hole on this, so I think it should be fine. We'll see. I will get some oil. So this is just regular, this is cooking oil, and it's just gonna help the Sorry, I don't know if that's too loud. But it does seem to work, so we're gonna continue. I'm covering the whole thing, I'm sorry. I am getting oil in between each one just because just because otherwise, I don't know, just I've gotten my blades to last. Not my blades, my drill bits. It's similar to the blade where you have to lube it, in order to last. You do the same thing with the drill bits. You gotta oil it in order for them to last. But this is drilling it pretty well. Like I said, there's already a hole, so it's just eating up the material around that. And the sun is leaving us, it seems. Hopefully it doesn't storm. We've been having a lot of storms over here. I forgot about this eye. I'll just come back towards the end and cut it. And there we are. New holes. Oh, goodness. I hate that that happened. It's very inconvenient. But it's okay. But now my blade fits. You can kind of see the difference with these holes. Sorry, give me a second, you guys. Oh, I'm a little bit tired today. I didn't get enough sleep last night. I'm prepped enough, but all right. So I just drilled new holes. Let's do this. And again, I don't know why I decided to start to cut towards the right. I want to cut on the left. And I just keep forgetting. This blade does produce a lot of dust. And it is louder because it has less teeth. Feels like I'm getting a little bit of restraint from this blade, so I think a little bit, because I've been using it. Also, I just gotta slow down a little bit. I am going a little bit too fast. I'm still very surprised that it's just, there's just a lot of lines, and for some reason that takes longer than having to cut details. I have no idea why that's the case. I don't love it, but it is what it is. I guess I don't fully understand. Going slow here. Oop. Pick that up later. You fell down. But I see a bit of white here, so I'm going to go over it and fix that up. Now. And there you go. Just noticed that my bird is on the other side of the cage. I don't know what he's up to. He's been a bit weird today. Alright. My back is really feeling the pain. Now from the chair. Okay, I'm not gonna make the same mistake as before. We're mainly gonna focus on the right. I don't know if you can actually see what I'm doing, or if it's just a bunch of dust that you're seeing suddenly show up on my piece. Okay, I gotta chill. Okay. Hold on here. I'm gonna lift you up a little bit. Need to, for one, stretch my leg. 1 second. I'm hitting the tripod way too much. So hopefully this helps me a little bit. Sometimes if you have restraints, that's what causes pain as well. And because this blade is so much thicker, I can just make 2 lines and I need to like turn it 2 or 3 small lines. This area here is a little bit more pointy, but it's not extremely like fine that I was like, oh, I need to use the other blade, so that's why I was okay using this one. So when you do those, you have to, you want to go back. And I'm just cleaning it up as I go. Sorry, I'm getting really lost in what I'm doing. I think the other thing is that I'm so sleep deprived that because this is just like a pattern thing, it's making me a little bit sleepy. The good thing is that this is not a machine, and if I fall asleep, I shouldn't cut myself. I should actually stop what I'm doing. But for some reason, just the repetitive movement or seeing the repetitive movement is making me sleepy. There we go. That piece fell to the ground. I'm just gonna leave it and pick them up later. I don't want to pick them up now when I'm doing something. I'll have the blade on my hand. Alright. We're getting there. It feels like this is taking forever though. We're almost 2 hours in, but a lot of it is just me talking. I'm trying to justify the fact that this is taking a while. And then I'm going to start on the left. Limp this up. There's just so much dust. There we are. Face is cut. There's so much. Gonna do this, then this, and then the outside. I need a break from working on areas that are literally just almost straight lines. It tends to be really boring for me. All right. We're almost done. I say that. Still feels like we have a lot to do. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna start with the inside. Struggling to make turns with this blade for some reason. I think maybe because this copper is very thick. It's just, I don't know, I'm just struggling to make curves with this blade. Gonna loop this up. I don't know why this copper feels way, it just feels way harder than it was, than it used to be. It's making noise. Just, it does feel like ever, like forever, like this is taking forever. Oh my goodness. Okay. I think I will need to end this live stream early. I don't think I'll be able to finish this right now. I don't know why. It's just the fact that this is taking a while is kind of like crazy to me. It's tiring me, that's for sure. I'm contemplating if I can finish this in the live stream. It's just I'm tired out right now. The blade making more noise is telling me that it's wearing out. Oops. And I did use it to cut that other one, so it might be wearing out. But this copper feels way harder than I remember it feeling. Again, I haven't cut thick copper in a while. I've mainly been working with soft, thinner copper. So for some reason, it's just like, it's feeling like it's taking forever. There we are. Goodness. Oh, I need to take a break after that. This is what we're sorry. This is what it looks like in the back. It's getting there. But it is taking longer to cut, and it's really annoying me. I'm gonna see how long that section took. I'm not counting per section, but I can look at the live stream. Okay, yeah, that took like 10 minutes. I don't know if that's like a lot. That does seem like a lot. 10 minutes on just this tiny section. That it just doesn't seem right to me. It's shocking me. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna have to switch out the blade. Maybe that's part of the issue. Because I feel like for a while this one, the thinner one, was cutting better. I don't know if you can see my bird. I'm gonna let my bird distract you guys for a little bit. And excuse the mess. Oh, he left. He's like, I don't want. So much dust. All right. I don't know if anybody has any questions. I haven't really been paying attention much. I've been looking at the chat occasionally. Sometimes there's people here, sometimes there isn't. That's totally fine. There's some people that just like to see the chat or see what I'm doing, and that's about it. Trying to move this back. Why isn't it? There you go. Ah, I'm taking a small break for anybody jumping in. We've been 2 hours into the live stream, and I'm just like flabbergasted by how long this took me to cut. I'm not exactly happy with how things are going. I usually really enjoy the cutting process, but as I've said earlier, I haven't cut this metal or this specific thickness of metal and hardness in over a year, I think. I've been working mainly with jewelry, and the copper that I use for jewelry is different than the copper that I use for my sculptural work, because my sculptural work has to I don't know, maintain or be stronger just because of how much I need to like wedge it into things. But yeah, so like I haven't worked with this thickness of metal in a while, so I don't know if I'm just out of practice. It feels like it's really slow, especially since I've been working with soft copper for now months. So it does feel a little bit crazy, but I am unsure about it all. Because I lowered because I took the cushion away from my chair as well, in order for me to be in better level height to the bench pin. My back also hurts a lot more easily because the cushion adds like 3 to 4 inches to my height. So it is a thing. It is kind of crazy, but it's okay. We'll just continue after my break. I really need this break because I just don't. I also mentioned that I've just been like a little bit tired from I didn't get enough sleep last night, and this is really like not waking me up, but making me sleepy just watching that repetitive process of cutting the metal. But I think we can do it. One more hour, one more hour. I I do think that it's gonna take another hour to finish it. That is how tired I am. That is just based on the fact that this took 10 minutes, I think that's what everything is leading into. Hopefully it's really just a blade and I need to switch it out because I don't think I can handle that. And the other thing is that I did take the cushiony handle that this had. I added like a cushion to it. So it's currently more of the wood popping over and your hand really tends to stick to wood, especially if it's like softened and finished. And then it just gets extremely warm as well because you're doing a lot of activity with your hand. And because it is thin, my intuition is to grip it harder when I really want to just loosely hold it. But because of how thin it is, I don't know, I just like want to hold it a lot tighter. And all of that just causes exhaustion for me physically. Even when I was like doing the bookmarks live, I could do two. The only thing that really stopped me there was that I was sorry. I was basically again sitting on the chair without a cushion, so then my back would be hurting very easily. This is not great. Not great. But I really need this small break and then we will get back into it. We'll see where it all goes. All right. I think I'm thinking too hard. It's 3 already. 3. Oh my goodness. All right. We gotta get it going. Seems like I moved the camera when I showed the bird. I might play some music on my headphones just to help me pump up a little bit. I don't know if you were able to hear it, but we can do this, guys. We can push through. This is now more of like a... Let's see how much Deanna can endure. I'm gonna break this. I just don't trust it. Gonna grab a new one. And I'm just hoping that it's really that blade and that... Hold on, guys. I'm gonna have to end this stream. Okay. Hello, hello. All right. I'm sorry, everybody. I. All right, we're gonna finish this. I just had a phone call. I know how to take it. Um, we have 4 more things to cut, and it's currently 3:25. We've been on the live stream for 2 hours and 9 minutes, and I am ready to pass out. So, oops, I did change the blade here. I got a new blade. I don't know if that got missed out from the live stream, but I did get a new blade. And I'm gonna insert it in, and we're gonna get going. And I'm hoping this doesn't take an hour, but who knows, you know? Also, I just noticed that you can see the light, like a red light down there. That's the battery for my drill. How's that? How's that sound? That's pretty loud. It's not too bad. All right. Can I speed run through this? I don't want to speed run, but we're gonna try our best to get through this. I feel like I'm torturing myself, guys. I usually love to do this. All right, I love cutting metal. I I love doing what I do, but for some reason today, I'm just like suffering through all of this. It's like now you're watching me torture myself, and I am too stubborn and too committed. And I've been wanting to end the live stream and literally not have you see how this looks at the end. But I just like, I don't know, I almost fell asleep while taking my break. But we got this, all right? Or I got this, I don't know. All right. I think... Oh, I really need like a cushion or something here. Because it's like... It's bothering me. But everything that I have is not gonna work. I just need something to... So I don't feel... I don't want to feel the base of this. Alright. That feels so much better. Okay. This metal is so much thicker, so I'm just like, I'm really struggling. I haven't worked with this metal in a while, and I'm just like, there's no way that I totally, utterly tortured myself with this metal previously. Okay, first off, can you move? You're getting way too close to me. I just gotta move my tripod back a little bit, because I'm bumping into everything again. There you go. And I can move more freely. You just don't want any restraints. And if the tripod is in my way, then I feel like I can't hit it. And that just causes restraint, like, not restraint, but strain on my arm, because now my arm is conscious about that. So if you guys could just, like, move out of the way. Yeah. Okay. It seems like we're doing fine or better, which is great. I'm moving. I'm moving through all of this. I am going a little bit faster, but the blade is cutting. It's not giving me many issues. So I think it was really just the blade that needed to be changed. Which is great, because then it means that I tortured myself for like 20 minutes using the other blade. But it's fine. So this is something weird, like, I've been doing art for full time for like over a year now, or full time. It hasn't really been super reliable, but I just like been trying my best. But it hasn't been super reliable. So I've been having to do other things recently to make ends meet. And which means that basically like I've been looking for a job and stuff like that. And I am on Indeed. I have an application on Indeed. And I've been applying to part-time jobs and things so I can have a little bit something more reliable. And today I get like a message from a company, and it was basically like, hey, we saw your resume, we thought that you'd be perfect for this job, this and that. And I was like, okay. And I answered normally and asked like, where did you get my resume from? Because I'm only on one like job searching thing. And they told me about Indeed forward them my resume. And that kind of like shocked me because I was like, there's no way that you can just message me though, like my phone number, not through Indeed, literally through my phone number. So I looked up the policies on Indeed to see like if this was something that they did do. And there was mainly a lot of articles on Indeed about scams happening by people getting messages from Indeed. But mine was like not Indeed, it was a different company. And it still seems sketch to me. So, because the formatting of the message was very similar to what Indeed show on their website. So I was kind of like, okay. I looked up the company that was reaching out to me, and I looked it up on Indeed, and they had nothing on there. So I'm like, clearly they're not looking for employees or new people to hire. So I don't know. Indeed was like, reach out to the company to make sure that like they're actually the company and not just like somebody trying to scam you. Because like it doesn't initially look like a scam, but so I did my due diligence and I ended up calling the company and they didn't answer. I just left a voice message like explaining the situation, giving them names, or at least names that were shared to me in that message. And yeah, the guy reached out to me a few minutes ago, which is why the live stream went blank for a second. Because I'm filming through my phone, or live streaming through my phone. But here's the thing, right? I don't have the person that I called this morning, I don't have their phone number saved on my phone. Like, I don't know who they are. This is the first time I called them. And when they just called me, it showed their first name and last name. And what are you doing there? Hold on, guys. I just gotta show you this. Do you see this guy? What? I don't know what he's eating, but I don't like it. Don't get scared when you're the one who got on here. I just don't want him eating any wax or anything. Sometimes he like throws his seeds this way. Whatever, he can stay there. Just don't poop on my desk, please. Anyways, as I was saying, so he calls me, right? I only know his name because in the, what do you call it? In the, what do you call it? The pre-recording thing when you call somebody and they don't pick up. He didn't pick up, so he was like, hey, this is blah, blah, blah. If I'm not on the phone right now, could you leave a message? And so I did. But I did hear his name because of that. I left him a message basically explaining the situation. And like I said, he called me and his first name and last name showed up like on the ID thing. And it was verified. So I was like, oh shoot, I think this is the guy because I remember the name that I called. And he was just basically telling me like, yeah, it sounds like it's a scam and that they've received a lot of phone calls similar to mine of people basically like saying, hey, is this real or is this not real? And he's just like, sorry, it's not real. I'm sure the company feels bad that their company name is being used for this scam, potential scam. I don't really know what it is. But it did sound too good to be true. It was like they were offering $20 an hour while training and then $40 an hour after training. And it just didn't seem realistic to me. So but yeah, the main thing was that I was surprised that his name, first name and last name got saved to my phone. I don't know if that's normal. I have a Samsung. And sometimes I notice that if it's been a place that I looked up before or something like that, my phone has it as verified, even if it's like the first time that they've called me or that I've called them. That is not to eat, Clover. You're gonna hurt yourself. But I'm not gonna take it away from him because he's been very aggressive lately and I don't want him to come at me. What are you doing? Why are you all the way over here? Excuse me, sir. All right. I don't know what he's doing. But he doesn't seem to be scared, and that's not great. Come on. Come on. Get back to your cage. You think you can do that? Good boy. All right, there he goes. All right, that wasn't too bad. I am destroying this bag though, but it makes my hand feel so much. Can you not? Do I need to back you up? He's trying to get back here. We have a few things to go, so we can do this. Guys, we can do this. It's not great that he found his way over. Right. He's just like not scared. You see him? I don't know what he's doing. But I don't want him to get too close because, I mean, there's no dust blowing. It's not fine enough for him to like get mad from it, but I love that he's here. But now he knows his way over. You can't eat that. Are you hungry? You have food. Hold on, let me feed him some seeds. There he goes. You pooped on my desk. Oh my goodness. In desperation for food. He has food. Just a crazy, crazy little guy. I'm gonna have to move this because I think this is what he's climbing through to get over here. And then I'm just gonna have to move his cage over a little bit. Alright, sorry guys. Oops. We're almost done. So close. I can't believe. Know this area. And we can do this. We can do this. I think I'm going a little bit crazy, but it's okay. All right. Loop this up a little bit, just a little bit. sorry if I'm quiet. There really isn't much that I can say right now. We're almost done cutting this and I'm excited. At least it's not taking as long as... I think it was just really the blade that I was using previously that just was making this feel like it was taking forever. I'm definitely gonna have to remake a sleeve for this Salvaro because I can feel. Okay, I can feel that the handle is bothering me in some ways. There we are. There we go. And now we have just all of this negative space to cut. And then the eye. There we go. I'm gonna start the cutting of this circle here on this one over here because it's too small. Oop. Alright. We're getting through this, guys. As crazy as it may seem. We're almost there. Okay, hold on, I'm moving this back here. so close yet so far, it feels like. Okay, I gotta chill a little bit because I'm starting to push. Okay, you need to calm down. Cutting straight lines isn't that exciting. Today's Tuesday, right? Yeah, it is. Okay. That's fine, that's fine. Sorry. I just happened to realize something. We're almost there. I need to be careful because I'm like really getting this all the way down here. And my fingers are really close in. You know, cutting myself, it's really rare. Hitting myself with the saw, that's not that rare. I do that very often, and if I do not be careful, I will slam this onto my finger. Oh, just did that twice. It's really hard to see what I'm cutting because there's so much. There isn't a lot of black left, and I don't want to say the background is black, but it's black down here. But we're almost there. Struggling to cut to this curve. And there we go. I'm looking at it real quick to make sure that it's decent. I have to cut this eye. That's the only thing that we have left, but I do have to switch blades. And then just for the sake of you seeing what it looks like correctly. And by correctly, I mean like this, but you can read the always. I will try to attempt to take the sticker paper off. It's a little bit harder to take the sticker paper off because it still has the, or this piece still has the plastic on it that the copper comes with. And the reason why I kept it on is because I don't have vinyl sticker paper anymore. So I'm using paper sticker paper, and the paper sticker paper sticks to the copper and it's impossible to take it off. So that's a little bit annoying, but keeping that blue film on the copper is helpful with that, because then I can stick the paper sticker paper on top and then nothing bad happens. So I'm just gonna cut out this eye. I actually don't love how it looks after doing the first one, but they're twins, so I gotta commit to my errors. I also might just not like it because it hasn't been sanded yet. And because it's a small space where a lot of copper is melting, then it just doesn't look correct currently. Okay, and I can't really see, so I'm gonna have to go back and fix it. But for now, we're done. Finally. Here's the one that I did the other day. Here's the one from the live stream. And the light is leaving me, even though it's only 3 p.m., almost 4. The sun, I don't know if the trees are just so grown that I can't see anything. But this is a tool for printmaking. However, this end that's looped in, it's really nice for this because it's meant to like buff out scratch marks on copper or on any type of metal really. But it helps me just pick this up, and I want to pick up this bottom layer, which is the blue. And if I can just pick it up a little bit, I can pull. But it seems to be a little bit complicated. But the lettering, anything with small detail is always just difficult. But the nice thing about this is that, I mean, it looks like you may scratch the piece a little bit, but I'm still gonna sand this and stuff, so this buffer doesn't really scratch it. It just buffs it, but the buffing is a different texture than the texture that this already has. So it looks like it's been scratched, but it hasn't. There's just so many small details. This is breaking too easily. There we go, that was a little bit better. But it's not gonna hold. The sticker paper is just too strong. I can take the sticker paper off first. It doesn't stick to the plastic, which is great, but it does stick to the copper. Okay. It's literally just plastic. It's good for packaging just because then the copper doesn't come in damaged. But for some reason I did take it off the back, which I usually don't do because with me twisting this around a lot, the back then gets really scratched with all of the like the copper dust. But it's okay. I'm gonna lift this up. And this one is cleaner than the other bird. I don't know what happened with the other bird. It seems like there was leakage or something and it oxidized. Again, something I can just get rid of with sanding. But it just surprised me a little bit when I took all this stuff off. And then it turns out that the copper is dirty underneath. It's dirty here too. Like right there. Anyways, this is the final design. I love how the Always looks. I actually like it way better than the Fly Free looks good. But the Always, just being one word, very simple, looks good as well. But these are the pieces. I hope that you guys enjoyed. We did manage to finish this live stream within 3 hours. I'm so happy. I was really losing my mind. I apologize if I didn't talk a lot during this live stream. I was just really focused on what I was doing, and I was also in pain. Oh, I'm so happy to put my cushion back on my seat. This is just crazy how like an inch or 2 inches of height affects your working position. But these are the two pieces that we did. Well, this is the piece that we did today, and this is the one that I did previously. And I'm actually really happy that I did Always, because imagine if I had struggled with all of that during live stream. I think I would have actually had the live stream if that was the case. But yeah, these are going to be up for sale. So once again, I have the website on the chat, but once this live stream re-uploads, I'll try to add everything that I discussed in the description of this video. But yeah, we managed to do this in 3 hours, and I'm happy that we managed to do it because I was about to give up. Anyhow, thank you so much for watching. This is going to take a while to re-upload it to my channel, so I hope you don't mind. I might forget to upload it after it's rendered, but that is basically it. I'll debate doing the other two in live stream. I think that would be a lot. I'll ask later in the community channel. Anyways, I hope you all have a fantastic day, and I'll see you next time. And I forgot how to end the stream. There we go.